Welcome to the Palette Talks podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Palette Talks podcast. This is your host, Jason, and today we are joined by a very special guest, none other than Intuitive. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine as well. Thanks for asking. So, for the audience who are listening right now, and maybe they have not known who you are, can you do a little bit of introduction about who you are and just tell us about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a lo-fi hip hop and kind of jazz hip hop producer, and I live in Austin, Texas, and I just love to make different types of jazz and hip hop, and I've been producing for about a year, and I'm hoping to be a bigger part of the lo-fi community. So thank you very much for having me.
Of course. So, what have you been doing these days? Like, what are you up to?
So right now I'm actually I'm gonna start going into college this next upcoming semester. So that's a pretty exciting part of my life. I've just graduated high school, so I'm hoping to do something bigger with music through that. But that's probably the biggest thing that's been going on. Trying to fit music into all of that is a challenge, but it's definitely rewarding whenever I can fit that in.
Yeah, I think it's a big step. So, but it's always exciting to step into something new and different for the first time in our lives. Let's go back to the beginning. So, what's your origin story? Like, how do you start to produce music? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I've actually been a musician all my life. So I started playing violin when I was actually 5 years old, and so I've learned and played that for a really long time. For about 13 years, I've been playing violin, and I just learned a bunch of different instruments on my own since then, mandolin and guitar. And the one instrument I never learned was piano, which is kind of difficult because piano is very helpful when it comes to music production. But I got into music production about actually almost a year and a half ago, because there was a class at my school that was about music production. And I took the class not expecting much, to kind of think it was a cool thing to learn and know about and just kind of move on. But I really took a liking to it, and I started producing more music. And after a while, my brother and I sat down and made our first beat, which was my beat called Context. My brother played all the piano for that, and that one got a lot of traction on SoundCloud, and I was able to start producing more and making more of those kind of lo-fi beats off of that. And so that's kind of what really kickstarted my music production. So I've been trying to follow in the same vein since then.
That's really cool. So you're kind of a prodigy, right? 5 years old?
I don't know if you could say that, but I thankfully I do have a good ear for music, and that's really been helpful. So, but I really do love production, and it hasn't been too difficult to learn, but it's definitely been a process to get to improve and get better at music production.
Yeah, I think it's actually important to have. It's really nice to have like a foundation of music production, by playing instruments when in your very young age. But what's interesting is that you start to produce music from a music class in your school. Like, is that like a summer class, or what was that?
So that was it was an elective class at my high school. It was just music production in general. And what was cool is that through the class, I was able to get this really good audio workstation called Bitwig, and they kind of taught us the basics on how to use it. And so from there, I just kind of messed around until I finally found the whole genre and the whole lo-fi community, and saw how wonderful of a community it was, and how I wanted to be a part. And so that's when I started making the lo-fi stuff. But for a while, I just I messed around with music production just with really no end goal or purpose in mind. But it was kind of interesting that I started with a class in my high school, but I'm glad I took the class because I found something that I really loved.
Yeah, I mean, like you never know what will happen. Sometimes the biggest things in life begin with really small, simple stuffs that we never expect it to be like one of the reason why we're doing the things that we do now.
Yeah.
But what's interesting to me is that you started it to produce with your brother. Is your brother still making music with you right now?
So my brother kind of he helped me with a lot of the figuring out the jazz
Mm,
piano and chord progression side of things. So two of my beats that are on like Spotify and SoundCloud, Context and Lull, he played all the keyboard and piano for those,
mm.
um, because he has this crazy keyboard, really nice fancy Roland keyboard that has all these really good sounds on it. And so we
Mm,
started making stuff on that, and I would record it all into my computer and add drums and all of that. So he helped me kind of get started, but um, I've kind of taken the whole intuitive page and and made it my own. So he helped me out in the beginning, but he's he's off at school, and I've continued to make music while still being at home and in high school. So so he hasn't been involved with a lot of the music I've made
mm.
recently, but he definitely helped get me started.
Yeah, it's always cool to have like a family or just a very close person to help you
Mhm.
out, making music. I think it's always exciting. It's always like they're always supportive that way,
Mhm.
and you're just encouraged to be like more productive
Yeah,
and just produce more and more. So that's really nice.
it was a really incredible experience to just sit down and make some of the music that we were really enjoying listening to. So
Mm.
yeah, that was a really incredible experience, and I'll probably be making more with him over the summer because he'll be back from school. So
Yeah, I know this is kind of off topic, but how did the name Intuitive come? Like, how did you get with that name? Like, why did you choose that name?
so it's kind of funny. So I originally started thinking of a name for some sort of stage name or artist name because I started DJing, and I've
Mm.
kind of started a DJ business
Ah,
around my town. I go in like DJ weddings and parties and school
wow.
dances and stuff like that. So I was talking to my oldest brother. I have two brothers.
Mm.
So my oldest brother came up with the name Intuitive, just as he just kind of threw it out there as a suggestion, and I just really liked the name, so I ended up not using it as my DJ name, but I use it as my I use it as the producer name that I have.
Mm.
But I actually did take it and start my DJ business off that name as well because I call my DJ business Intuitive Sounds,
Mm.
which is essentially the same name. But my brother
Yeah,
just came up with it, and I really liked the name, so that's what I've gone by ever since. But yeah, so as far as my lo-fi production goes, that's the name that I've used since.
yeah, that's interesting. So, let's go a bit deeper here. So, as a producer, you've been producing for over a year, right? And
Yes.
what has been your greatest obstacles like for that
hmm
year? And like,
Probably trying to fit my my lo-fi production in with everyday life because
mm,
obviously I'm still going to school, I'm working, I'm DJing, and it's very difficult to find time to sit down and make a song or make a new beat and stuff like that. So that was probably one of the biggest obstacles is finding time, but the other
mm,
was learning and mastering the software and the process on how to make these songs and make these beats because
mm,
it's very complex and very complicated on how to use these different softwares to make music, and if you don't really get fluent at what you're doing, the music doesn't sound very professional, or it doesn't
yeah,
sound very enjoyable to listen to.
mm,
It might be kind of novel, but it might not sound actually quality. So
mm,
making my music go from just a fun thing I made on my computer to actually being something that I would feel comfortable having people around the world listening to was another one of the biggest obstacles. So finding time and making my music sound professional were the two biggest obstacles.
Practically speaking, how do you work on your work-life balance? Like, do you have any strategies in place that so you can finish school well and at the same time you produce? Do you have like strategies or your personal thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm. I usually take it as it comes. I try and get my homework and schoolwork, all that done first. And whenever one of the best times I've found for me to produce music or come up with a fun idea is either in the middle of the day when I'm out and about and I'm at a coffee shop or something and I'm doing homework. Sometimes I'll take a break from doing my school or take a break from whatever I'm doing and work on a song or produce a new beat or come up with a cool little melody. And those have been the times when I found I was actually the most creative and most productive. Is kind of when I'm procrastinating from doing my work.
Yeah.
So so I'd say probably some of the strategy I have is essentially to fit working on music, because music right now for me is a hobby. It's kind of my free time, and use that like in the middle of the day when I'm taking a break from school to work on music, because that really makes it seem like that really brings enjoyment into it, because it's more of a break. It's relaxing. It's really rewarding and creative to make something in the middle of the day when I've been working on school for hours on end.
Interesting, because some people actually they produce music on the midnight hours, at 12 a.m., 1 a.m. And it's interesting that you produce the music when you're having some free time in a cafe or like just doing your homework, and you just have this creative thoughts just appear in your mind, and you're just like, I'm gonna do this right now, and like because it's something enjoyable, right, and rewarding and creative, and it definitely brings benefits to your other aspects of life as well. So that's interesting.
So usually I've made more of my favorite beats or my favorite songs in the middle of the day at this coffee shop in my hometown. It's where I've kind of had my most inspirations or the more interesting ideas that I've had for beats. Like one time I had watched a movie called 5 centimeters per second the night before, and then at the coffee shop I sat down and had the idea to take a little piano line from that and turn it into the really relaxed lo-fi beat. And it's just inspirations like that kind of come to me while I'm working on other things. It's almost a distraction, but when I'm able to finish what I work on and then take that little idea I had and take a break and flesh that idea out, is usually when I come up with the best ideas that I've had. So it's kind of interesting how that works, but I've never really been a midnight producer.
Yeah. So what have been your favorite memories or moments, specific memories or moments when you were producing music? Do you have any of those moments?
Probably some of my favorite memories are when I've worked with people on music. I really enjoy having. I've kind of over the years built a studio in my house, in one of my brother's old bedrooms, because now both my brothers have moved out and they're in college. There's 2 empty rooms, so I took one of them and made a whole studio out of it. And I had a friend over and we made a song over the summer, and that was the song Worth It that I was really able to release. And just those times when I've been able to work with people and work with my friends on music have probably been some of the best memories that I've had. And just being involved in the whole community. And whenever I released my first beat and I saw people started reposting it, I'm like, wow, there's actually people who listen to this stuff. That's probably been some of my best memories in general with music production, is just seeing how open and how welcoming the community around lo-fi is. So I'd really say it's mostly just the connections with people that music has created has been the best experience for me with music production.
Yeah, I definitely think that sometimes doing some creative work can get lonely, and just having integrated to be into the community, be one with the community, and work with really amazing, talented people out there. It's always amazing. You never expect the results of how just outreaching, how impactful the result of that work is. Do you have any collaborations in mind? Because yeah, I'm just interested if you have like people that you're interested to collaborate with.
Yeah, so I'm actually right now I'm working on a whole new project, and that's why I've had a lot of friends come and record in the studio with me. But I've been in touch with a bunch of different people around, mostly reaching out to people through Instagram. I've been working with this guy named Nanoth, who is another kind of lo-fi singer artist, and we're working on a couple songs. And I'm starting a new artist page called Eli, where I'm going to be creating lo-fi music with lyrics and vocals. So I've been reaching out to a bunch of different artists. I believe I also reached out to an artist that you'd had on your podcast earlier, Afterthought. And,
Yeah.
I'm hoping to create something with him in the future. But yeah, I've been reaching out to a bunch of different artists around Instagram to try and create more music and create more connections. So
yeah,
that's what I've been
Instagram
doing lately as far as that goes.
Instagram could be like a really good platform for you to connect to people that you have never known. And yeah, it's just amazing that you can find these new people and work with them, and have that creativity, brainstorming kind of collaboration going on, and produce just really amazing music together. And let's talk about how you produce your music in a way that how do you map your ambition? Like, do you have any strict discipline of like targets? Like, you want to produce like one music per week, or do you just kind of let it flow?
I usually take it. I like to take it as it comes. Basically, I tried to kind of set a goal to release a new instrumental track a month, but I thought that was kind of a loose goal. But I realized very quickly that creating stuff that is release worthy consistently is pretty difficult, especially when trying to balance life and all those activities involved, in tandem with producing music. So I've kind of just released whenever I can now. I kind of had a long break over the last 3 or 4 months. Ever since New Year's, I didn't really release anything, and then I was able to start releasing again recently. So I've just recently kind of made a bunch of new tracks, and I'm gonna try and release them consistently throughout the summer. But I haven't really kept myself to a schedule. I should probably get better at that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's definitely normal. Like, consistency is really hard. Like, for every human being on earth to be consistent is not something easy, because you're not doing it for like a month. You're doing it like for the long run, and doing it long term is definitely hard and not easy. And you got to stay consistent to grow, stay consistent to produce, and grow as a person, as an artist. Yeah.
That's one of the things I found that was very incredible about your whole Instagram page, is how consistent you are. It's like you're uploading almost every day. I'm like, man, I wish I was as dedicated to be able to upload that consistently. That's pretty inspiring.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy on me as well. Like, I have I'm going on college right now, and just I had a class yesterday from 7 a.m. in the morning to 7 p.m. at night. And
wow.
And the next day I had a 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So like from Monday and Tuesday, I go to college from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I have some time off in the middle there, no classes, but still to go home and you feel so tired and you just, oh, I gotta post again. But
Yeah.
I think one thing that has made me one thing that keeps me going is the fact that I believe in what I'm doing, and I think
Yeah.
that's really important for everyone, for every artist, for every person, to believe in what you do, to love in what you do, because when you know your purpose, like why you're doing this, like nothing can
Yeah.
stop you, no matter how tired you are physically, emotionally, mentally. You gotta keep doing that because you know the reason why you did it in the first place.
Yeah.
So that's why I keep trying to be consistent, even in the long run, even when I have to, balance with my personal life, still hanging out with my friends and family.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really big challenge for me, and I think for you and for every artist out there. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
but let's now talk about your future. I love to talk about the future with every guest that I have in this podcast. But who do you aspire to be in like the next years to come? Like, what do you want to be known for in the future? Let's say in the 5 year run or 10 year in the future.
Yeah, I would really love to be more of a more of the so one of my favorite, or I guess one of my inspirations in the music, the whole music production side of things is Andrew Huang.
Yeah.
He's a YouTube producer, and he's not
Mm,
necessarily strictly lo-fi, but I just he's so creative, and I just love the influence he has on people and the positivity he spreads. I would love to be kind of an influence like that. Maybe not in the next year because that would be kind of ambitious. Um,
mm.
because he has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
Mm,
I would love to be someone who can really impact people and spread the kind of positivity that he does. Uh, I'd really love to be a more prominent voice in the whole lo-fi community.
mm.
I know I've used that I know I've used that term a lot, but I really love the group of people and the type of people that really, I guess, that are attracted to this genre of music. And I'd love to be a bigger voice in that area. You know, be able to reach out to people and be able to help other artists grow and stuff like that. So I'd love to be more of an influence in that area, but we'll see what happens. There's the future is pretty unknown. Hopefully I can get there, but if not, then there's a lot of more future ahead.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, like the future is always uncertain. But
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
the fact that you said that music has a big potential for impacting people, whether that is
Hmm.
positivity or hustle or just happiness. And I think
Yeah.
music really plays a big role in our society as a whole.
Hmm.
Actually, I saw some of Andrew Huang's videos and I found them really cool, really amazing. I
Yeah.
also uh, I got in touch and connected with another YouTuber. He's only got like 60,000 subscribers, but
Hmm.
his name is Tetro, and he's not really like lo-fi, but
Yeah.
he posts content about beat making and beat production. Um,
Yeah.
I always love one of his content. It's called Mentor Monday. So every Monday he always upload a video about what we should do as a producer, like the mindset, the mentality of being a producer. So it's kind of like mentoring, and uh,
Hmm.
he's really wise, and I feel like that's something that every producer should do, in a sense that everyone actually should make an impact on people's life. Like life is bigger than yourself. That's just
Yeah.
how I think about it. Like, don't just live for yourself, live a
Hmm.
legacy, do something for the people that you love, just make a good impact, like spread that good vibes, and
Yeah.
better
Absolutely.
things are yet to come. Yeah.
Hmm. And just one of the most one of the things that I would love to see the most is for people to see passion
Mm,
in my music. What I would love to see is for people to see passion in the music that I make, because one of the things I saw in Andrew Huang's latest videos, he made a song about this lake in Canada called Lake Louise, and I could really just tell the whole video he made, the whole vlog was really incredible. But one of the things that was most impactful to me is that when I was listening to the song and when I was watching the video, I could just really tell that he was actually passionate about that particular project. So the things that I would want people to see, or one of the things that I feel impacts people the most, is when they see passion in an artist's work. Because I was really impacted by the video that and the song that Andrew Huang made, the Lake Louise song. It's an incredible song, and because I could feel the passion that he had for that song. So if people can feel passion in my music that I feel towards the music that I'm creating, then that's really the culmination of what I would do. So if I ever reach that point, and I really hope that I do, then that would probably be the biggest goal of mine, is for people to see that I'm passionate about what I do, and the music that I create.
Wow, yeah, passion. That's it. Like sometimes the audience can really know what you're trying to spread, what you're trying to give in about your music and about the passion that you're putting in. So it's always interesting that no matter what you're doing, the audience always know it, and so we just gotta do what we gotta do, stay honest, and then yeah, just
And I really feel like a lot of the people who make lo-fi really do care about the type of music that they make, or everything that's really involved in the genre. And I
yeah.
see that in your Instagram page as well, because it's incredible to see how consistent you are and how you really do care about the content that you're putting out and the music that you're sharing with people. And that's really incredible. I kind of love how the lo-fi genre is so ingrained with the anime community,
Yeah.
because the people in the anime community can be so passionate that it's really cool to see kind of in a musical expression of that. And that's what I see within a lot of lo-fi, a lot of stuff like that, is it's kind of the musical expression of that passion, or that care for the content that's being put out. And that's why I really do enjoy being able to make this kind of music, is because I kind of get to share in that care for the genre, and that care for uh, you know the things that people grew up with, because it's really a nostalgic type of music.
Yeah.
People really like to connect it with these childhood shows they grew up with, and I really find that really endearing about the type of music, about lo-fi. So that's something I really enjoy.
All right. Do you have any advice before we're ending it? Do you have any advice to people who want to start to produce music? Like, do you have any tips for them?
I would say listen to people who are good at producing, and watch people who are really very passionate about and really excited about music, because that'll get you excited about making music too. Whenever I watch someone like Andrew Huang, and you see how excited he is about making music, it makes me excited about wanting to make music. And then I actually go and I make something that is something that I care about. So seeing other people care about their music makes me want to care more about my music. So I would say find people who care about making their music and get inspiration from them. Obviously, don't copy their sound. Just try and feed off of their inspiration, because that's probably one of the biggest things that inspires. And also find a community of people who also enjoy music. Luckily, the lo-fi community is really welcoming and really wonderful. So that's probably been another inspiration of mine. So those are probably the two main things that get me going on music, is feeding off of other people's excitement, and being part of a community of people who also love that type.
Awesome, man. It's good to have you here, Intuitive. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It's been really amazing talking to you. Do you have any shout outs or messages to anyone?
Not any off the top of my head, but no, I don't think I have any shout outs. But everyone go follow Paletteism. He's awesome. He has a great great Instagram page. I really enjoy it. Wonderful content every day.
All right. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
And also for all the audience, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Don't forget to spread positivity everywhere you go. Make sure to follow Intuitive on his SoundCloud, Spotify, Instagram, all of his platforms. I'm going to be playing one of your music after this, so stay tuned to the podcast and enjoy your day. Goodbye.